welcome back to the Blender character modeling tutorial from start to finish for beginners. We are about to build the body, y'all, and well, I think some almond milk, plant-based milk, did this body good. Hope everybody had a good weekend and enjoyed the holiday and ready to jump back into it. So last time we talked, we took care of the reference image, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to add a cube, Shift A, add a cube, okay? I really want to be able to see our model through the cube, so we're going to select this layer in object mode, and we're going to hit transparency. We're going to make sure that the depth is in the front, okay? Now it's not technically in front of it. We're making it look as if it is, and then here we go. So now we can have this selected, and we can do stuff with the block, like bring it up to Z here, okay? And we can see our model through. Let's kick in a side view and do the exact same thing with this one over here. Let's bring this to front, transparency selected, and drop it down to, what do you think, 0.3? Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, you can go even lower than that, 0.2, okay? So now we can still see our form, and we can edit our cube in the form, okay? And let's control 1 into the back view, and let's do the same thing again for this one. Drop down, what do we have, 0.2? And bring it up to front, okay? And 0.3. Don't mind that, I don't mind that. Let's kick in a side view. 0.2, go 0.3, and you know, this is right, this is just taste, right? You know, if you want it to be 0.3, 0.2, 0.4, 0.5, doesn't matter, right? Just as long as you can see your block on top of it. This should be old hat to you. You know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to scale it down to make it about the size of the chest. We'll grab it up on the Z-axis, we'll just right here, and well, we know exactly what's happening. We got to get in half of this, and then we're going to add a, oh, you know what we should do? You know what would be fun? So for everything we did with the head, we had the mirror modifier based around the head. There's another way to add mirror modifiers. It's really a neat idea, okay? So let's Shift A, let's add an empty, okay? We're just gonna add an empty. That's all we're doing, okay? Right there. So here's our empty, right at the center of the world. And we can even scale this down. Doesn't need to be that big, okay? All right, and that's just right here. It's the empty. And we'll call it empty world center, okay? Okay, so we have our default cube. And let's scale this down to about here. We're going to start with the chest, okay? Let's tab over into edit mode and Control R this, right? And let's add a loop cut right along the center. We're going to hit enter to lock that in. If we accidentally move our mouse off center, oh no, that's okay. No big whoop. Escape out of it, and now we have a loop cut, edge loop around the center of our model. Let's go to vertices, kick into wireframe mode, select these right here, and delete them. Okay. And so now we have half of our default cube. So what we're going to do is, with this selected, we could kick over into mirror modifier. Let's go to where our modifier properties. Right here, we got mirror modifier, outstanding, and it's just right there, okay? Now we want to make sure clipping's turned on, and if we wanted to, so right now this kind of works. If we wanted to, which, you know, why not, right? We can have our object mirror on any of our layers. For example, like the world center empty. See what happens when that happens, okay? So it's essentially nothing, but also something. So whereas before, this was mirrored off this object, not the world center, this object, whereas if I had moved it over here, it'd be up here. now anything you mirror ever can be mirrored off the world origin. Okay, that's just, it's just another way of doing it, right? Is there one right way to do something? Well, now you've seen two different ways to set two different points of reference to set your mirror modifier. Okay, it's just super easy. Also, I want to note that so we learn from a lot of different artists, and I'm going to be taking from two different tutorials. We've really been following the Nikwang tutorial up until now, and we're going to get back into it a little bit. But before we dive into the detail, we really just kind of want to have a base mesh modeled. So we're going to do a base mesh and then build our form out from the base mesh. And to do that, we're really going to be heavily influenced by a Blender artist named Dicko, who did an absolutely wonderful tutorial on character animation and, kind of the A to Z. And you guys should definitely watch it. And he really does a great job of going through the fine-tooth comb, the importance of getting geometry right with the base mesh. Because when it comes time to animate, when it comes time for animation, if your geometry's off and you go to close a fist, for example, some of the polygons in your fist can just jag left and right, up and down, and exist outside your form. And these are glitches. This is what makes our animations look glitchy. And Dicko does an absolutely wonderful job articulating the importance of proper geometry in a base mesh. And the guy just really knocks it out of the park. Highly, highly recommend. It's stylistically different from the model that we're going to make, but you can still definitely learn from it, right? We can learn, when you have no set text, you can make use of wisdom from all sources, and this is just an example of that. Okay, so now that we have our half the mesh that we're going to work from, and we have our mirror modifier up, we are ready to start building it out. So with everything selected, we're going to scale this in. All right, you know what? Before we do anything, we're going to want to lock in our scale. Okay, in object mode, let's go to Control A. There we go. So we want to apply this. Well, here is the item. Okay, see how everything is a little off right here. You want to apply really anything that you've done. And if you don't, things just can get a little wonky when it comes time to transform. So keep your eye on this right here. They're all at 0.189. And then when I go Control A to apply the scale, look at that. Okay, they all bump up to 1. So now this is baselined. Okay, and now it's ready to work. That's just, it's a tiny detail, but it's really important. Okay, so now that we have our scale applied, we can N that out of view. Remember, N is brings it up, and N makes it go away, just like on this side. T makes it show up, and T makes it go away. Okay, just again some hotkeys. Now let's scale this in, and tab into edit mode and bring it up. Gee, what is that? No, escape out of that. We want this on. There we go. And we don't want proportional editing on yet. I'm going to bring this up on the G-axis to about the collarbone. Okay. This all the way through like that. Bring this up, the bottom of the breast, kick over into side view. Okay. Bring this up. Here. Bring this in like that. Bring this out like that. Bring this in like that. We'll touch that up. Okay. I'm going to shift middle mouse. Those are selected. Kick over to side view. Bring this up a little bit like that. Above the shoulder. Bring it like that. Bring this in like this. And then bring this up even more, probably like that. Pull that back out. Kick over to front view. Bring this in. Okay, let's Control R and create a vertical center line for our figure. Okay, and this is really gonna bring that in really just, okay, so here's our center line. And now we can actually pull our shoulders in. Okay, and look, honestly, if you want to use vertex selection, go ahead, that's fine. You can use these two and push and pull. If you want to use edge selection, that's fine. You can push and pull. Same thing, okay? Same result. And we're going to bring these down to get these shoulders and bring that in. Out. Bring this down. Bring this down a little save our work. Okay, all right, let's in front view extrude these down, get the belly. Okay, so we're in here. We want to extrude down. Okay, right there. We want to bring this down, we'll call that there, and then we want to really kind of bring this up along where this hip is going to sit. Probably there, right? Okay. Again, don't be too, I know this kind of looks crazy. That's okay, right? The base mesh does not have to look perfect yet, and it won't. Not by a long shot sight. Okay, this is just it's extremely basic. We're really just getting proper geometry in place, so that when it comes time to it, we'll be able to mold and model effectively. Okay, let's kick in a side view. Alright, jump into wireframe mode. Let's bring this in a little bit. Let's bring this in a little bit. Let's bring this out a little bit. Let's bring this in a little bit. Bring this in a little bit. Not bad. too far in, you just bring it out. There we go. See? Just like that. Okay. Stellar geometry. Let's control save. Let's bring this down. Down on the side. Okay, so these are not quite aligned. Just below the nipple, just below the nipple. Okay, we're gonna need to start adding some geometry, so let's do that now. With Control R, see how it adds a loop cut around the entire structure still. This is another reason you kind of want to pay attention to geometry. Okay? Because if you don't and you start, you have geometry all over the place, you might go to make a loop cut and it might not loop all the way through. It'll only loop this part right here. But you can see it made a full loop all the way around it. Okay? All right, let's start working with this. Okay, so let's kick in a front view. And really try and with this in solid. Let's bring this in and up. Bring this in and up. Might be a little too far. Bring that out. Bring that out. It's going to be the shoulder, and then bring this over and down a little bit. Okay. Taking a side view. Back is looking way too flat back here. So let's pull this out and up. See what we do there. Ooh, nice and sharp. Just getting some edges. The edge of the edge. Okay. Let's pull this back. Pull this back. He said about the back. Unbelievable. Too good. Too good. Okay. Another thing that we can do, if we're kicking a front view, we added this vertical center line. We want one of those on the side as well. Let's kick in a side mode. And we want to do the exact same thing. And again, we're being super particular about where we add our geometry. Let's Control R and get a loop cut going right there. Do we want it here? Do we want it here? You go right in here. Just escape out of it and let it go straight in the center. Okay? And this, believe it or not, is actually what we're going to make our arm out of. Okay? If it looks crazy, that's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Alright? It's just a base mesh. It's supposed to look kind of gnarly. And then, after a while, you'll see it form. Just trust the process. How did this get? That looks errant. Let's pull this back in. What do you think? Yeah, there we go. Let's bring that down. How's that looking in the back? Okay. Okay, now, what we need to do? We need to pull this up right here. Let's go into face mode select. And this and this. This is going to be our neckline. We're going to build our neck out from here. So this is going to have to be pulled up a little bit. Let's go here and pull this up. Okay. Go here and pull this up. We're going to build our neck out from this. This is our neckline right there. Okay. So we're going to build our neck out from there. How does it look here? It's a little... Okay. Okay. Inverts. Maybe bring this in. And then we'll obviously, we're going to have more geometry in here to kind of tailor this out. That's totally fine. I got no major qualms. Okay, let's keep going with that neck, yeah? Alright, we want this to be as close to a sphere as possible. Might not be that possible, and that's okay, but if possible, we want it to be possible. Okay, so let's go here. Maybe bring that in this way. And then let's go 7 for aerial view. Maybe a sphere can be for the number of verts that we're messing with. Okay, and we want to go into face select this, control select this, and we're going to extrude this neck. So in numpad 3 in side view, we can just extrude up. There you go. Okay. Now we can obviously grab it and move it and take it wherever we need to. And we'll bring this up. Just like that. We'll scale it in. And we'll get a little more geometry with another loop cut. And then this is where we can actually start to have some fun. So you see, it's unbelievable. Look what it did. I took clipping off. Oh man, I took clipping off. Mea culpa, y'all. Mea culpa. Okay, with clipping back on, let's do this again. There we go. See how it stays together? That's why clipping's important. If clipping's not on, it pulls apart from that center line. If clipping's on, then I'm trying to move away from the center line, but it stays glued, which is great. So let's kick in a side view. Grab it with G. Grab it like here. Scale that. We'll call that good. And then let's add that edge loop. Let's kick in a front view. And then let's start, one at a time, really kind of start paying attention to your geometry, okay? You can start to build these in however you want to. So that looks a little odd. Okay, so maybe this comes in like that. This comes in. And what we're starting to see here, and you might have already realized it, is that these lines are going to form a line down your character's body, and you want it to be, pun intended, lined up. Okay, it's just going to make your life a little bit easier. Well, I don't know that'll make life easier. If anything, the struggle of life is the thing that makes it living, right? I mean, makes it worth living. It should make your modeling easier. So let's really be cognizant of that. Okay, maybe pull this up a little more. Bring that in. Okay, I don't mind that. And this is gonna have to come down. Let's go Control S. How are we doing on time? You know what? I think that's gonna do it for this one. Control S, Control Save. We have started the body. Okay, we've started the form. We've started building our base mesh. It should look wild, right? It's a far cry from our head, which was a beautiful thing, right? Just trust the process, you guys. Trust the process, okay? This is where we're at. And in the next video, we're gonna keep building the base mesh for the body. So get up, get a stretch, get a bend, get some water, get your strength and your courage, and come back to it, and we'll see you in the next one.